welcome back to Riding the Road with Ralia. Now it's been quite a hot minute since I've done one of these, or at least recorded one of these. I have a couple more to edit still, or I think it's just one at this point, but from like August and then end of July. And then I haven't really recorded any since then, to be honest. I just haven't been out this way to the Dead Fish Society in town, so I haven't really had a lot of driving time to record, or I just haven't really felt like it. But kind of some updates in life. I really can't remember the last time I did this, so I don't think any of this had happened where I would have talked about it, but if for some reason I'm wrong there and I've mentioned some of this stuff before, I'm sorry, but a little deja vu, I guess. Had my interview for that job at the Dead Fish Society a couple weeks ago. I think it went pretty good. Murphy started barking when I was trying to answer one of the questions, so I had to repeat myself there. But they were good sports about it, thankfully, and also thankfully because my Microsoft Teams decided it was not going to work that day. And of course, it didn't let me know until it was like right before, so that was cool. But yeah, they were good sports about all of it, thankfully. I felt so bad. I'm just mostly mad about the Teams part, because I had like the app installed, it like came with my computer or whatever, so I was like, oh perfect, I'll just use that then. Got it all ready, it said it was connecting, and then it was like 2 minutes before it was supposed to start, and it said it failed, it couldn't connect, so I had to try something else. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, you spent like 5 minutes connecting, and I thought it was just waiting for them to like open the meeting or something, or like it wasn't connecting because like the meeting or whatever hadn't started yet. So I was like, oh, not a big deal, like I'm sure it'll be fine once, it actually hits the time of my interview. But no, it was like 2 minutes before it started, and it was like, oh, it failed to connect, and I was like and it didn't give me the option to like retry it, and I was like, well, I'll just try it on the browser then, because I can't wait for it to think about connecting again, and by then it'll be too late. So I went to my browser, and that one worked fine, except my mic and video weren't working. Like, I could hear them talking, but they couldn't hear me, and I had allowed the permissions for both of those things, so that shouldn't have been an issue. And I could not figure out how to fix it, so I just last-ditch effort, like, refreshed my page. They had to let me back in the meeting, and then thankfully it worked, but I was like, what a horrible start to this interview. That's embarrassing. But we got past it. This is why I hate Teams interviews. Zoom, I feel like, I just hate, like, video call interviews in general. I think they're really awkward, and I much prefer that, like, actual human interaction, like, in person, to be honest. As much as I don't like interviews in general, but like, I'd much prefer they be in person, but I digress. Teams has not worked for me, period. Like, it really sucks. And I mean, Zoom has its issues, of course, but like, at least that hasn't totally failed me like the way that Teams has lately. And of course, it's what's everyone's been using lately is Teams for different things. I was trying to watch this webinar, and that was through Teams, and I had missed like half of it because I ended up at work later than I was hoping. But I was like, no big deal, I'll just hop on now on my way home and I'll listen to it in the car. And then I went to join, and it was like, oh, you need the app and whatever. And I was like, I'm not messing with this. Like, it didn't give me an option to do it through my browser on my phone, which I guess okay, but also like, I don't see what difference it makes really either, because like, I don't know, whatever. I was like, I'm not gonna download an app, wait for it to download, log in with whatever it wants me to log in with, and then listen to like the last 10 minutes by that point. It was very frustrating, but hopefully I won't have to use Teams again anytime soon, or at least it'll be for something that's not as pertinent as, or like, I don't know, it'll figure itself out. I don't know what its issue has been, but I've been really struggling. I feel like I've used it, maybe I haven't used it before, but I don't know. You'd think you'd be able to just like jump into it and it'd be fine. As long as you have like, as long as you're logged in or something, but whatever. Whatever. It's fine. It's over now. It's not a big deal. They told me to be surprised if I hear anything within a month. So I'm thinking like November is when I'm gonna hear anything, which is fine. I don't really. I think I've mentioned this before, but I mean, I have a job now. It's not like I have to. Oh shoot, that light's out up there. That's unfortunate. It's not like I'm in between jobs right now or anything. Like I'll survive. It's not the end of the world. Now, where do you think you're going, homie? This light's not gonna change anytime soon, I don't think. I hate how stroby that is. That's really unfortunate. Oh, they're working on it right now. This light up here is like flashing orange, like insanely so. It's quite unfortunate to look at, to be honest. Y'all, I don't think you're supposed to go. Where are you going? Okay, I'm going with the bus. I don't know what we're supposed to do. That was terrible. Anyway. See, I don't know what to do when it's like this, because I don't know what the other sides, like the side streets are doing, like if those are also yellow or if those ones are red. Because after, oh, they fixed it. Nice. Anyway, because after a point in, at night on this main road, the lights, just kind of flash yellow. Not like that was really stroby, but you know what I mean, like flash yellow on the main road, so you're like, okay, like be aware, but like you kind of have the right of way. And then the side streets are flashing red, so like you have to stop, and if you're good, then go, whatever kind of deal. I think, don't quote me on that, maybe I have that all wrong, but I've only ever seen it like once or twice, because I'm rarely out this way that late, but I have seen it before. I assume it's like a power saving kind of deal. I don't really know. Or just because there's not really a lot of traffic at that time, so there's no point in doing like the whole shebang, I guess. Look at me talking like I know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so when they're like freaking out like that, though, I don't know if it was showing that color or like what was going on. So I just went with the guy next to me and hoped that we were correct. But the one next to me was a bus, so we'd be fine. They're not gonna... Whoever hits the bus is gonna fare a bit worse than the bus. Although I was between the bus and the other car, but... You know, they'd probably see the bus and not drive into us. You would think. Okay. What else can I ramble about? Work has been interesting as usual. Boarding was actually slow the last like couple times I was there, and it was quite nice. I appreciated the little break from the insanity. Coffee break now. Apparently they're starting road work up here. That's fun and exciting. They're also tearing up that parking lot, and it looks like they're maybe putting some kind of business there. That would be interesting. I wouldn't mind another place to eat food. Not that really helps me any, because I don't live close enough this way to really, unless I'm like in town for another reason, like, I don't know if that makes any sense. Ooh, I should go to Aldi's sometime. We just got 2 new Aldi's. Well, one's open, and now the other one's almost ready, I think, but I've not been to the new one yet, and I should go. It's ginormous compared to the one we already had. when I'll hear anything, and I'm like, honestly, I don't know. They told me to be shocked if I hear anything soon, even remotely soon. But I don't know. I just still like on that cusp of like, I don't really want to leave my current place, but also kind of need to get going with things that I went to school for, you know. I don't know. I just feel like I'm in like a crossroads, like indefinitely, and I don't really like being at that spot, but it is what it is, I guess. I have my whole life still to work, you know. That's the other thing though too, is like retirement wise, like I'm not in a position for contributing to that at all, which is also unfortunate. Oh, speaking of other things going on in life, I put an offer on a house with the man recently. Ours was declined, but which I'm not really upset about. I loved the location of the house, and the yard was phenomenal. It had good structure, but there was so much that needed to be fixed, and also it was a very musty house, and I don't love that at all. It just needed a lot of work, and for how expensive everything is, it was just not worth the price for how much had to go into it. Like, and I can't afford that right now. We just went ahead and did it just because, just to like go through the process once. And we kind of didn't really expect it to be, our offer to be taken, but honestly, I think that's for the best, because with how much work we would have had to put in that house, by the time we would have been done with that and sold it later down the road, because that wouldn't be where we stay forever, of course, it'd be so undervalued then, and that would be really crappy, because I don't know, I would love to move out, but also things are just so expensive, and it's not worth the prices that they're going for at all, and I really don't want to get like screwed over that way by paying an absurd amount of money for a house that is not at all worth that. Not saying that, you know what I mean, like way overpaying for a house, and then down the line when we sell it, only not even making even on what we had paid for it, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how all that stuff works. Like I said, I've not done this before, but that just seems not very smart, and I'm not like desperate to move out. Some days I am, but like I really don't need to, so I can survive without, but I don't know how much longer, and it doesn't look like that's changing anytime soon with the prices and stuff, so I don't really know what to do. It's all very uncertain right now. It's kind of spooky. Okay, now we're just crawling along. Oh, what had happened earlier? Oh yeah, this, I don't even know what it was, some kind of van looking thing. It was like, oh okay, you got places to be. Plumber guy, alright. Anyway, where was I going with this? Oh yeah, so I was just cruising along the highway, you know, and someone comes out of the side street. It's like a tanker truck kind of dealio. I think like, not one of the manure semi things for like the farms, but some kind of farm related thing, right? Semi, you maybe can picture it. I forgot exactly what it looked like, to be honest. That was so long ago. But and then this van like squeaks out behind it, and I'm like, I was pretty close at that point, like, coming around the corner, and I was like, okay, I guess I get it, like I have to slow down for this semi to get up to speed anyway, but also like I probably would not have done that. There's nobody behind me for miles. Like, you could have waited a second, but whatever. Pulls out in front of me, it's fine. There was enough space, but me personally would not have done that. And then as this truck is getting up to speed, like quite quickly too, might I add, like this guy was clipping along, and this van thing like goes and swerves around it, like to pass it, and there's cars coming, of course, in the other lane. Again, like cutting it a little closer for my comfort personally, but I guess he had room. And I noticed he like really cut off that semi, like he had to like really speed up around it because again this semi is like getting up to speed really fast and 5 over even, so I don't think there must not have been hauling much because they were cruising for bruising up the hills too. But anyway, get to that in a second. And they just like go barely in front of him to like get around the thing, and I'm like, really? Like, okay. And then they catch up to the car in front of them, and they do the same thing when there's like barely time to go around them either. And I'm like, you really like maybe should have left earlier if you got places to be that bad that soon. Come on now. People just don't make sense to me. Yeah, semi was cruising though. Like I get like going around really slow vehicles sometimes, but like this guy was going like 60. That's pretty fast for a semi. Most of them go up to like speed, you know, but like this guy was, you know, going as fast as he could. There was no reason to scoot around them that fast. I don't know where that car ended up going. They were shooting off. I was hoping I'd find them pulled over somewhere along the way. Sweet justice, you know. That thought always crosses my mind when I see people like swerving around cars and stuff. It always amuses me too when they're like weaving around traffic and then you get stopped at the same light, and it's like, how did that fare for you, buddy? Not very well, apparently. And then what's the point of it? It's just reckless. So stupid. Anywho, I'm keeping up with the plumber guy. I don't know. He's going just fast enough that, like, I can't really justify going around him, but I feel like he's got to be slowing down sometimes, because I don't know how I keep catching up to him so fast. I don't know. Whatever. I almost wish I had like a camera on my dashboard sometimes just to recount these stories better, or just because I pass some really weird things sometimes when I'm driving, and I wish I had like a video proof of it. Or like the time that bear ran across the road in front of me. I wish I got a picture of that. I'm so mad that I didn't. I was just in so much like shock that I didn't even think about it. And it was also really dark, so like I'm not sure that you would have been able to see it anyway, even if I did get a picture, but still, like, just still mad about that. Anyway. Yeah, I hope things are well with all y'alls. Just a little life update there. Not really any funny stories lately. I have some crazy ones from things that have happened at work, but they're a little more personal. I think I'll give it a little more, maybe not personal, but I don't know. They're like not great stories, so I think I'll give it some time before I talk about them, because this all happened like last week. Oh, but related to that, please vaccinate your dogs and cats and all your pets against rabies, assuming there's a vaccine for them against rabies. It only helps, prevents a lot of heartbreak and stuff on both ends. I feel like people should see how animals are prepped for rabies testing, and maybe that would put it through their skulls that, yeah, your pet does need a rabies vaccine. Not only is it illegal not to have it, but also, like, you really want this to happen to your dog or cat or whatever? Like, come on, it's so preventable. Ugh, okay, anyway. So many things I could rant about that I see that are just like, why didn't you just do this simple thing? It would prevent all of this from happening. Yeah, anyway. Gotta love it. Okay, I think now after that, before I get too far up on my soapbox, I think I'll cut it here. Because I just can't think of... I always, like, plan when I'm not recording, like, oh, this is what I would talk about if I was recording right now. But instead of actually recording, I just think about it, and I don't actually ever do it. And then by the time I'm actually recording, then I'm like, I have no idea what to say. I think because in my head, I'm like, oh, I already talked about that. But really, I was just thinking about talking about it. And, yeah. Oh, fun stuff. Anyway. I guess I have I'm a hot commodity for dog sitting and working lately. I have to cover a bunch of stuff in October and dog sit for a few people too. It'll be a good time. I enjoy it, but also some days I'm like, man, I wish I would have had this one weekend free, but whatever, I digress.